The snowmen rose with icy glares, frosty fists, no time for prayers. They marched on north, the elf blood froze, the peppermint fields now lined with woes.
Jack-o'-lantern lit the spark.
A pumpkin grin, a scheme so dark.
He was the lies of endless snow.
If Christmas ends, you'll never go.
Ho, 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 bah, humbug. Good morning and welcome. It is your favorite Scrooge, the oggm, broadcasting live from Site B, located in the Christmas headquarters that is Fresno, Nevada, which doesn't exist, on a lovely spring morning. Yeah, the sun is out, the sky is blue, the winds are only 20 miles an hour. Steve is curled up next to me. Today is Wednesday. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving. For many of you, hopefully you are spending time with friends or family or loved ones. Please don't drink and drive. Have a great time. And then get ready to stand in line at 3 o'clock in the morning for those amazing Black Friday doorbuster sales. Do people still do that? Or have we finally wised up and realized we can get all that stuff shipped to us? Anyways, it's time to take a look to see if there's any Black Friday tabletop role-playing game sales for us, and I have looked already. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Gotta say, guys, my idea of how discount works and retail's idea of how discount works seems to be slightly different this year. Maybe it's my dyslexia. I don't know, but let's start, of course, with drive-through. I mean, that's where most of us are going to get our RPG stuff, right? So let us see what, if anything, is marked down at drive-through RPG, and then we'll move on to the retailers. All right, drive-through is having a Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale. So it's Black Friday. It's Small Business Saturday. I forget what Sunday is, and then Cyber Monday. So blam, press the thing, and So there we go. Blah, blah, blah. What is this saying? Hottest Black Friday, Cyberpunk Red marked down $10. Vampire the Masquerade marked down $10. Whatever that is, marked down $4. Ashes Without Numbers by the Kevin Crawford marked down $8. Game nobody cares about anymore, marked out. Does anybody still care about Mage? Marked down $10. Some D&D stuff. Fabula Ultima markdown, $5. The markdowns are not that great. $10, $3, $3, $10. I don't even know what that is. Marvel Multiverse, not really marked down. This guy's stuff, look at this. Marked down to pay what you want. This OGGM Adventures guy stuff is all marked down to pay what you want. How awesome of him. So yeah, the Cyber Monday stuff is not that great on drive-through. And unfortunately, guys, this is going to be the running theme, because I've already looked, like I said, and the discounts aren't very discounty, considering it's Black Friday. Now, I understand times are tough, and maybe, retailers are looking at the prices and going, we can't do the crazy markdowns anymore. Or maybe, it's still going to be electronics is king for markdowns and everything else. But really, I think this would be a great time to get rid of older stuff. In fact, the very first thing that I found in the articles that were talking about Black Friday said, it's a great time to pick up older books. If you don't have a copy of, an older player's handbook or whatever, maybe it's marked down. So now would be a great time. But let's face it, electronics are king when it comes to markdowns. Still, you kind of hope that D&D and tabletop role-playing would be marked down. But I'm telling you right now, don't get your hearts up, because like I said, I've already looked. But okay, so now we would go to Amazon, right? We would go to Amazon, and Amazon's going to have some great Black Friday deals on role-playing stuff, especially D&D stuff, because, they've had such a horrible year money-wise. Nope. Okay, my personal favorite 5e adventure, Tomb of Annihilation, marked down $10. Not even going to count this. We know all the dice is marked down. If you're looking for dice, it's a great time to get dice. It's probably a great time to get the t-shirts and the stuff like that. But what about the books, wizards? What about the books? All right, so here's Curse of Strahd, marked down $10. That's not a markdown, considering during Prime it was marked down $25. Book nobody cares about. Waterdeep. Okay, first thing in the article said, now's a great time to get the older books, the 2014 books. Waterdeep Dragon Heist, marked down $10. Last Amazon Prime, it was marked down $20. Not a discount. Bedlam and Neverwinter. This is a board game, marked down $10. Again, that's not a Black Friday discount, considering these were all lower on the last Amazon Prime. This is disappointing, and this is how it's going to keep going. All right, here's the last 2024 product, Vecna, Eye of Ruin, the 10-year-long buildup for this utterly disappointment, marked down from 60 to 40. That's $20. That's okay. What about the starter set? Dice, marked down, of course. Best if you're looking for dice, now's the best time to get dice. What about the starter set? Let's go with a starter set, right? This is what everybody's going to be looking at right now for Christmas. What's it called? Heroes of the Borderland. Heroes of the Borderland. Okay, Heroes of the Borderland. You are marked down. You're not even in here. There he goes. Marked down $10. Went on $50. Now it is $40. Don't know what it was during Prime because it wasn't out on Prime. $10 is not a discount. And it just goes on and on and on. If you're looking to pick up D&D stuff, yeah. On the other hand, just to be fair, all right, here is a MacBook marked down from 1,000 to 800. Okay. Here's the Kindle marked down from 400 to 200. Okay, that's not bad. Let's see, Drawstring Brags, marked down $3. Looking to get a unbelievably expensive coffee machine. This was 1,500. It's now marked down to 1,000. That's a decent markdown, not a great markdown. I have definitely seen better markdowns. So just to be fair, we're looking at the electronics, and of course, what about the video games, right? Okay, so here's a wireless controller. Originally $75, marked down to $55. $20, that's not bad. Batteries marked down $5. What is the big video game with the kids now these days? Xbox marked down from 150 to 100. But that's just the no console required. Okay. Marked down blender, $300 marked down. Great time to get a blender. Vacuum marked down, $200. That's a markdown. Here's a desktop marked down from 400 to 230. There's some curling iron. There's a TV marked down to $90 from 150. So these are the markdowns we're expecting to see. Electronics, decent, not great. I've seen definitely better. So yeah, if you were looking to jump on some amazing Black Friday deals, you might be a little bit disappointed, especially for stuff in our department. But okay, let's go to the source. Let's go to D&D itself. Let's see if Dungeons and Dragons Beyond has marked anything down. So Epic Adventures Epic Savings Shop D&D Beyond Black Friday sale. Get up to 50% off on stuff nobody cares about. Eberron, Rising from the Last War, Guide to Ravinica, Guide to Theros, Spelljammers, Adventures in Space, Strixhaven, Curriculum of Chaos, and Vagrictive's Guide to Ravenloft, all marked down. Nobody cares. Baldur's Gate, Descent into Avernus, marked down. Curse of Strahd, marked down. Icewind Dale, marked down. Out of the Abyss, marked down. Princes of Apocalypse, marked down. Storm King's Thunder, marked down. Dungeon of the Mad Mage, marked down. Okay, 25% off older stuff, but it's on D&D Beyond, but still, yeah, okay. Considering it doesn't cost Wizards of the Coast anything to put these on, and they are older pre-2024 D&D titles, I would have marked these down 50%. Especially D&D sales are kind of crappy. Notice no starting books marked down. No starting books marked down. So you lied, article that said it'd be a best time to get involved into starter books. Okay, let's see what these guys found for us. This is Bell of Lost Souls. So here we go. The D&D cocktail book. The official Dungeons & Dragons cocktail book. 70% off. 70% off for a book of stuff you can find free online. Now, we've talked about these books before and how they work, just like the themed cookbook. So there's a gigantic repository of recipes that are open source. So what these guys do is they find a recipe and then they just retheme it and put it into the book. So, you know, Middle Earth, Hobbit meals, you know, and then they just find something that sounds vaguely like something a Hobbit would eat, like meatloaf or stewed onions or potatoes. And then they just retheme it. So instead of it being potatoes, it's, you know, Uncle Gamgee's potatoes or, you know, Beholder stew. So it costs them very little to make these books. You're basically paying for the lore and the art. And every recipe in this book is free. All right, let's see what else. Oh, hey, this thing. The completely inaccurate history of Dungeons and Dragons, marked down 50% off. Dude, you can give this away free. No one's going to take it. DM screens, marked down 20% off. That's expected. Dice marked down anywhere from 25 to 50% off. That's expected. Bedlam and Neverwinter marked down 30% off. I don't think anybody's going to want this, but okay. So you went to Justin Alec books marked down, but not really a month. Blah blah. Yeah, okay, that's a crappy list. Again, disappointment. Target. Yeah, Target, right? Target carries D&D stuff. Target and Hasbro have an exclusive deal, right? Consistently, I'm being told that people have gone into Target looking for D&D stuff and not seen any. But let's see what Target has marked down. All right, so here we go. The brand new starter set. Marked down $5. It is the brand new starter set, so okay. On the other hand, it's a great time to get people to start playing. So it'd be a great time to mark this down, knowing that going into 2026, there'll be people really, really excited about picking this up, especially since the new season of Stranger Thing, the final season of Stranger Thing, is up. Heroes Feast, which I submitted a recipe for, marked down from $40 to $20. That's a markdown. This book that I don't know what anything cares about. It's a book about the Hellfire Club. All right. This game, Horrified, for $30, marked down from, doesn't say. Let's see. Bunch of stuff I've never heard of. And most of these don't look like official D&D stuff. They look like characters and quests. That's not Wizards. Oh, hey, the Dungeons and Dragons $500 Lego set marked down to $400. Figures marked down. Wow, Target, your exclusive Wizards of the Coast Hasbro deal kind of sucks. What about Walmart? Right? Walmart's still a thing, right? Let's see. Marked down $10. Marked down $5. Marked down nothing. Something I've never heard of. Figures and stickers kind of marked down, but there's better markdowns on Walmart. I mean, Amazon. A bunch of stuff I've never heard of. So yeah, disappointing. Disappointing. What about Ollie's? Well, we don't have an Ollie's here in California, but from what I have been told, considering the last time people walked into Ollie's and they were finding D&D stuff marked down for 20, 30, 40, 50%. Yeah. What about your local stores? I can't tell you because I don't have one, but I assume that if you live someplace that does have a store that represents our hobby, they might have a markdown, a Black Friday sale. I don't know. You probably should call and ask. And it really just cycles back to, yeah, the two biggies would be Amazon, right? Which is kind of not marked down much of anything. And drive-through, which also didn't have a lot of stuff marked down. So if we go back and look at when we did this last year, noticeably different in the amount of money you were saving. Much greater markdowns this time last year. If we compare Black Friday sales at Amazon to the last Amazon Prime, it's night and day because we were looking at $50, $60 games marked down to $20, right? And considering that Humble Bumble has a Black Friday sale for campaign cartographer alone, which was normally a $90 product, which you can get campaign cartographer and everything else that company made for $30. That's what a Black Friday sale should look like. And if we're comparing Black Friday Amazon to Prime, which wasn't that long ago, where we were seeing again, $50 games marked down to 10, 15, $20. And now we're looking at $50 games marked down $5, $10. Some of the prices actually went up compared to a few days ago when I looked to see if they were marked down. So unfortunately, boys and girls, if you were thinking about rushing to your friendly local game store to pick up some amazing markdowns and D&D stuff, no, really kind of disappointing, especially since now would be a great time to pick up older books like second edition books, AD&D books, or even the 2014 books. But no, they're not really that marked down. So, wow, I guess people are expecting that because of Stranger Things, there'll be a bigger desire for product and people will be more likely to purchase product because Stranger Things. So they might not mind paying really the exact same thing they would have paid anyways. But that's okay, because I know one crazy person who has a totally worth your time and energy Black Friday sale, and that's this guy right here. The OGGM has marked down all his product on drive-through to pay what you want. So if you were thinking of investigating the crazy stuff that comes out of my brain that I've made for Shadowdark, my hex crawl rules for the OSR post-apocalypse games, my superhero game for Shadowdark, and my Weird West game for Shadowdark that was just recently reviewed by the Eclectic Goat and got a really great review. They're all marked down to pay what you want. So do you think my product's worth $10? Give me $10. Do you think my product's worth a dime? Give me a dime. Do you think my book's worth $7,777? Give me $7,777. All my PDFs are marked down. It's a great time to pick up my product, support the OGGM for holidays. Remember, this is my job, and help me feed Steve the cat. Yeah. So thoughts? Yeah, it is pretty disappointing. Again, the only thing I can reason why is Stranger Things. And maybe they're thinking that people will be willing to pay more than they would have paid during Prime because of Stranger Things. But I'm not really seeing that much energy invested into Stranger Things. I mean, I think I've seen one commercial So, and there's a whole bunch of controversy addressed to this season with that one guy, and apparently Millie Bobby Brown is coming out of her cocoon and turning into something of a negative Nancy. And I don't know. Having never watched a single episode of Stranger Things, I can't say. So yeah, I'm disappointed, guys. I apologize. I was hoping I would find you some better sales, but there are none. So obviously the best sale is to just buy my merch. Right? Have a great Black Friday. Please don't drink and drive. Enjoy your time with friends and family. Or if you're like me and you're a Scrooge. Hopefully you all have something to thankful for. I'm thankful for each and every one of you for taking time out of your day to listen to me pontificate on all things tabletop role playing. Till next time, stay safe. See ya.
Tinsel torn, the stockings burned, the sleigh was smashed, the tide has turned. Oh, cruel tide, Christmas, the end.